As you saw in the beginning of the video, today we're going to be practicing our single crochet V-stitch in the round. And to do so, we're going to be crocheting up a very functional but gorgeous cowl. Now this is a one wrap cowl, so it sits nice and cozy around your neck. Now I'm going for a particularly snug fit for this tutorial, but you can adjust your foundation single crochets as needed for yourself. Okay, we're going by head measurements for this. So in my case, my head measures between 21.5 inches and 22 inches. I like to go on the smaller side so it sits nice and snug on my neck. So I'm going to be aiming for 21.5 inches, and that is in the round. Not only do you have this video to pull information from, but there is also a written blog post / tutorial linked for you in the description box below. In it, you will find the information for crocheting the fingering weight version of this cowl, as well as the bulkier weight version that we will be doing in the tutorial today. This fingering weight version requires a 3.5mm crochet hook. It requires 6 grams of mini skeins in 6 different colors if you want to make it the height that I did. And you will need about 50 grams of a main color. This one here that I am using is a Hawthorn fingering weight in the Panettone colorway. It's been in my stash forever because I've crocheted the Maya socks with it, as well as the Eat Cake sweater. Now, for the fingering weight yarn, I'm not sure what dyer they're from, but I do know that these were a gift from Anna of Stitchcraft and Wizardry. She sent a yarn exchange last year with 25 wonderful minis. So without further ado, let's start our cowl pattern so that we can practice our single crochet V-stitch in the round. Now, because I find that doing tutorials with fingering weight yarn is a little bit challenging for you to see all the details, I'm going to be putting aside this version of my cowl, and instead I'm going to bring out some bulky weight yarn. This is Chroma Twist from We Crochet. And I really think this yarn is more on the chunky side than the bulky side. You can use any hook size between a 6mm all the way up to a 9mm, so there is a wide range. For today, I'm going to be using Chroma Twist in Go-Go Boots and Bear. Like I said, these colors are from We Crochet Official. I'm using 2 colors because not only are we going to be practicing how to do the V-stitch, single crochet V-stitch in the round, but we are also going to be practicing how to change colors at the end of every round. This is a skill that you need if you want to crochet either one of my single crochet V-stitch patterns. Now, you will also be needing a 7mm hook to go along with this. If you find that you have a tight gauge, then I recommend that you use an 8mm crochet hook. To start, we are going to start by making a slip knot with the main color yarn, which in my case is Bear. And in order to start, I'm actually going to start this cowl doing a foundation single crochet. Okay, I've discussed this before, and I will link those videos for you in the description box below. But basically, we're going to start with a chain 2. And then we're going to go into that first chain, and we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through 1 loop, which is effectively a chain 1. And then we're going to yarn over, pull through 2 loops, which completes our single crochet. To work in the next one, we're going to go under 2 loops for the foundation, yarn over, pull up a loop. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through 1 loop, which does the chain 1 space, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay? And I'm going to continue in this way until I've completed a total of 54 foundation single crochets. Here we have the 54 foundation single crochet, which at the moment measures 21.5 inches. Now, we're going to insert our hook and we're going to lay our foundation straight and flat, and then we're going to fold to meet and join in the round. Now we're going to join to the very first foundation single crochet that we did, which is here. And then we're going to grab our working yarn and we're going to do a slip stitch to join in the round. Don't worry about this tail because that is what we're going to use to sew that little gap that's left over in the end. All right, so now because we want to switch colors every round, I'm actually going to chain 1 for this very first single crochet V-stitch. And we're going to take our color B, leave a longish tail so that we can weave it in, and we're simply going to pull it through our loop. And then we are going to pull our loop tight, this working yarn tight. We're not going to cut yarn though, because we're going to be changing colors every round, and these are the colors that we're going to be using, all right? So in that very first stitch, the one where we slip stitched into, we're going to do a single crochet V-stitch. Oops. There we go. We're going to do a single crochet V-stitch. We're going to single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And just like before, we're going to skip a stitch, go into the next one and do single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Skip the next stitch into the following, single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. Skip into the following, chain 2, single crochet. And we're going to repeat this until we are 2 stitches away from the end of the round. Okay, so we are 3 stitches from the end of the round. We've just completed our single crochet V. So I'm going to skip the next stitch, do a single crochet V. And now we are left with 1 stitch. So in order to close the round, we need to skip this stitch. But since we are not slip stitching to begin our rounds, we're going to be working in continuous rounds. We also need to change our color. So the way we do that is we can either complete the stitch and then pull up a big loop, then insert our hook back on into the stitch. So we're going through the top of the single crochet, and then we're going through that front leg of the single crochet, and we are simply going to grab the yarn that we left hanging in the back of the work, this time color A, and we're going to pull it through. And that gives you pretty even tension. Or if it's easier, you could come back over here, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and now instead of yarning over and completing your single crochet with your green yarn, you're going to complete your single crochet with your white yarn. And then I like to pull on that green yarn just a little bit. Okay, we are now set up to continue working our single crochet V-stitch in color A. So we're simply going to insert our hook into that chain 2 space and complete a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. And we're going to do that for every chain 2 space that we have in the round. Now you can also switch the position of your yarn cakes so that you don't get them tangled up. Okay, let's complete the single crochet here. And remember to change color before you complete your single crochet stitch at the end of round 2. Now for round 3, we are simply going to continue working our single crochet V-stitch without joining in the rounds. So right now from the back, I'm grabbing my green color, and then I pull that through to complete my last single crochet. Again, I'm going to grab my green color from the back. I'm going to pull that through to complete my single crochet. The thing to remember in this V-stitch cowl is that we are changing colors with every round. In the case of this chunkier version that we're making in the tutorial, we're only working with 2 colors, but in the case of the fingering weight version, we're working with more colors. However, in both versions, we are only working with 1 color in 1 round, okay? So no need to panic. I will meet you back here when I've completed my 15th row, and that means I will end on my green color. However many rounds you decide to work up for your cowl, please try to end on the contrasting color, because then we're going to do our quote-unquote bind off in our main color so that we start and end with the same color. So like I said, I will meet you back here when I've completed my 15 rounds. For this last row, we are going to finish off in our main color because we started with the main color, so I want to make sure we finish with the main color. Now, for this row, we are not going to be using the V-stitch. To finish off the cowl with a little bit of symmetry from the foundation row, we are actually going to be finishing in single crochet stitches. And the way we're going to work these single crochet stitches is we're going to try to spread them around evenly and make as close to the original amount of stitches as we can. So for this bulky weight, I started with a foundation of 54, so I am going to aim to do 54 single crochets up at the top. For the fingering weight version, I started with a foundation chain of 110 stitches, so I aimed for 110 stitches at the top row as well. I think I actually did 112 stitches, but it all works neatly. The point is that you don't want your work to tuck in a lot from doing too few stitches, or spread out and gape from doing too many stitches. You want it as nice and symmetrical as possible. Okay? Back to our bulky weight version. I've switched colors. Now I'm going to insert my hook into the V into that chain 2 space, just as we've been doing, and I'm going to work a single crochet. And then I'm going to work a single crochet between the 2 single crochets. That is 2 single crochets. 3, 4, 5, 6, 'If you find your gauge with the 7mm hook too tight for doing single crochets, then feel free to switch to the 8mm hook. It will all work out. Like I said, the point is to make sure that this, what I'm calling the bind off edge, isn't too tight or too gapey. And I'm going to be doing one more single crochet between the first single crochet V and the last single crochet V from the previous round. This will take our grand total of stitches up to 53 single crochets. So I actually did one single crochet less than I needed, but that's okay. Our work is still looking fabulous. So now we just have to cut our yarn and weave in our ends. Of course, if you would like to make your cowl taller, then you would just continue on crocheting the single V-stitch rounds until you are ready to bind off, and then you would just make this single crochet border at the top. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today to make this single crochet V-stitch cowl in the round. I hope that you enjoyed crocheting this along with me, and do let me know what colors you chose to work your cowl in, if you decided to work your bulky weight cowl, or if you decided to go for the written pattern and work the fingering weight cowl. I think both options are just very, very beautiful, very comfortable, and very cozy. This particular version of the V-stitch cowl, I'm going to be using it with a beret designed by Laura Algarra. Once again, thank you so much for spending a little bit of crafty time with me today. I hope that you enjoyed our crafty time together, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!